What's shaking, BookTube? My name's Cam and I'm here today with another discussion video. This is one I've been planning to do for a little while, but I haven't really got around to just because it's hard to know what to say on it. You'll see what I mean in a moment. But anyway, this one is, do BookTubers haul too much? This video is going to be different from my other discussion videos for one really distinct reason. That's that this is a lot more subjective than the other stuff I've discussed. Usually I'll refer to data and statistics and all this kind of stuff like that to back up my argument or my opinion. But this one's really subjective, like it pretty much entirely comes down to opinion. I'll still be trying to not so much sway you as to my opinion, but justify my opinion on this as to whether booktubers haul too much or not. Before I do that, I need to call myself out because on the very first book haul I did, the video is still up, you can still go watch it, I said that I had a relatively small book haul, and I said that I didn't see the point in hauling anymore because it wasn't practical. And I even put as an annotation that it wasn't practical for me. I wasn't trying to sledge anyone who did haul more than that. But still, it is worth me mentioning that so that no one else does it, just to make me look like a hypocrite. I'm aware of me saying that and I'm accepting responsibility. My opinion has changed since then. Unfortunately, I don't have the resources to be buying 20 plus books at a time like some of the other booktubers. And to be honest, I don't really see how that's practical anyway. I only wanted to buy the amount of books that I think I'm capable of reading until the next book haul that I do, which will probably be in a couple of weeks. So quite a while ago, I did a poll on Twitter, and the response was almost exactly, no, I'm pretty sure it was exactly tied with, good that they haul more than they're able to read in those spans, or mixed thoughts, like you don't really know which side of the fence you're on. And then of course there was the option to say, yes, it's impractical to haul that much. But the response was mainly towards the first two rather than the latter. And me personally, I would have to say I'm with the more the merrier crowd, although I could easily slip into the mixed thoughts just because I do understand where the people are coming from, the people that have the impression that it's impractical to haul that much. I understand that. If you've watched my other discussion videos, you'll already know what my opinion is on, buying books, which books you should be reading, how quickly you should be reading, how many you should be reading, blah, 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 blah. In my opinion will always come down to me saying, do whatever the fuck you want. Do whatever you want. No one has to monitor your reading or be telling you need to be doing this to be a good reader. Or blah blah blah, just do what you want. But it would be a bit of a cop-out for me just to say that and then end the video, so I'll elaborate. Back in the day, before I really got into BookTube, I did kind of see it as impractical to haul more books than you're capable of reading in that span between your book hauls. And it disappoints me to confess that I had the assumption that a lot of the booktubers who were hauling a lot, and you'll see it everywhere. Every booktube channel does it. I've done it. It's everywhere. There's the thumbnail of someone with all the books, usually leaning back. The book's about to fall over. Awkward look on your face just because you've hauled so many books. And it's a thumbnail. Like it is a clickbait thing. That's fine. I have no problem with that. Again, I'm guilty of doing that to a certain degree. Not the full 9 yards, but I am guilty of it. And for that reason, because it can be easily identified as clickbaity, people see it as ingenuine. So when a booktuber hauls a bunch of books, if you feel they're being ingenuine, then you might see that they're only doing it to, I suppose, get more views, because book haul videos do generally generate a lot more views than other videos. Ironically enough, like booktube channels, book reviews usually get the least amount, which is weird. But anyway, so they could think you're being ingenuine for that reason, or they could think that you're only doing it to look like you're reading the books that everyone else is reading, usually within YA, that kind of thing. And me personally, when it comes down to me kind of being on the fence about it, it's just because I genuinely don't give a shit. I really don't care. I don't give a single shit if that person doing the book haul is going to read every single one of the books they've hauled. I click on that book haul video for the same reason that I'm sure the majority of other people click on it. It's to see books that I might not have seen before so that I might want to read them myself. Maybe that sounds self-centered, but I think that's just me being honest when I say that when I watch a booktuber do a book haul, I care more about whether I want to read those books as to whether they are going to read it before their next book haul or not. I don't really care. I care about their opinion on the books they read, but I'm not going to police how quickly they're reading them or which of those books they've just bought they are going to read. That's not me trying to say that there's no weight behind your opinion if you are one of the people that feels it's impractical or ingenuine. It is grounded to a certain sense. But I do want to say this for those people, for that group of people who have the opinion that it's impractical. You do have to make sure that you're not just drawing an assumption, because no matter how big the channel is or how glossy it looks, and I understand that the more glossy a channel looks, the more inclined you are to believe that they don't do as much reading as everyone else because it doesn't seem raw and genuine. But you do have to make sure that you're not just drawing an assumption, because for all we know, they could read those books before the next haul. In most cases, it doesn't seem physically possible, but this is where my opinion kind of comes into it more. My opinion is that, I aside from me not giving a shit if they read them all in time or not, I don't see the problem with owning more books than you're going to be capable of reading. I mean, is that a bad thing? Like, when did that become a bad thing, having the option to look at your bookshelf and say, I haven't read that one yet, I might give that one a read now. I think that might be the reason that I do book haul so many stuff, because I want to have a bunch of options out in front of me. I don't want to have to read a book, buy another one, read it, buy another one. I just want to have a big, broad option. And I honestly think that's where a lot of other booktubers are at as well. Of course, there's booktubers that would be doing it with the views primarily in mind. But like I said before, who cares, man? Just watch the video, see if you like the books that, they've hauled. And yeah, it's not a big deal. You just have to ask yourself, is your issue really with the fact they hauled that many books? Or is your issue with the fact that you don't trust how genuine they are? Because if you don't trust how genuine they are, then just don't watch their channel at all. I try to be as honest and open and transparent as possible on my channel. That's why I give a lot of opinions that don't usually fall into the popular category, but that's where I stand. I like being genuine and honest, and I like channels that are genuine and honest. But with that said, even if I find there is a booktuber who I think is doing it just for views and subscribers, I might still watch their book haul, because one last time, I just want to see if those books they've hauled would interest me. That's all. Really, in its core, when you think about it, book hauls are kind of just like advertising for books. You're just seeing all these different books that you might not have seen before. You're hearing them give brief descriptions on them. They might even say how well received they are or how well people are liking that book. It's just a really good way of advertisement without that person actually having to specifically advertise a certain product and say that this is really good. And I don't see a problem with that. I honestly think the more the merrier. You should be very well allowed to buy more books than you're capable of reading, because some just like the aesthetic of being surrounded by books, even if it's books that they aren't going to be reading anytime soon, and that's fine. I mean, if someone came up to me and said flat, just straight out, they said to me, I bought this bunch of books, but I'm never going to read them. I have no interest in reading them. I just bought them because I wanted to show them off in a video. I'll admit, I would be pretty disappointed, and I would say, that's pretty shit. But that's not an assumption I'm going to make just based on someone's video when I don't know them. That's all. That's where I stand. Anyway, yeah, this discussion video has probably been all over the place. I haven't really made any direct points. That's just because, again, this is such a subjective thing. It's based almost entirely on people's opinions rather than data and statistics, which is where I usually feel most comfortable. So I'm sorry if this discussion video wasn't really going anywhere. If you have a strong stance in basically any of those three camps that I mentioned before, feel free to try and sway me to your side in a comment below. Slide into the comments. If there's a discussion you want me to do a video on, leave a comment for that as well, and I'll give you credit if I choose to do it. As always, thanks for watching. Check out some of my other videos. All my social media links are below. If you haven't already, you should join the Wolfpack and subscribe. And if you are in the Wolfpack, I'll see you in the next video. Catch ya.